everybody, welcome back to CricTracker special show in the air with me, Nivedna Prabhu. I hope all of you are enjoying the most amazing World Test Championship final that is happening right now, which has got us all excited, and we're so happy to be looking at a competition of this kind. But before I get, our experts on the show, I would like to tell you that if you have any questions about what lies ahead for both the teams, use the hashtag AskCricTracker, and we're going to take all those questions on our show. So feel free to send it in. And on that note, let me call our very first guest, Rakesh Deva Reddy, who's a cricket coach as well as a cricket analyst. We, of course, spoke about where India was last when we were discussing what's in store for them. Did you expect it to be this way, Rakesh?
I think now everybody who was saying that there won't be a result possible. Now I think everybody shifting. Everybody will be shifting towards saying there is the result might be possible. But still, I would stick to whatever I said, whatever I'm saying from last couple of days. Slightly, I would say from the second session, the batting looked slightly easy. I would say it is still hard, but slightly it is easy. But maybe that 30-40 runs which have been added by Jamieson, Team Saudi, and all these guys, that really made New Zealand to feel they are in a settled position. Otherwise, if they couldn't have added that 30-40 runs, if New Zealand were short of some 40-50 runs, then the things would have been in a different way. But right now, I would say both the teams are at the same level, I would say.
Okay, let's find out from our next guest if he believes that both the teams are also on the same level. Calling on Oman cricketer Sufyan Mahmood to tell us what he thought about it so far. Sufyan, what do you think? Like Rakesh just said, उनको लगता है कि both the teams are on par right now. क्या आपका opinion same है?
Hi Nivedna, hello everyone. जी बिल्कुल, I think with the way the match has been going on now, match is evenly poised now. But it's very important for India to make sure that they put the runs on board now. क्योंकि batting has not been very easy. हमने देखा सबसे बड़ी example है Kane Williamson. The way he was, उनकी strike rate जो है आप उससे अंदाजा लगा सकते हो कि कितनी batting मुश्किल है. A batsman of his caliber was not able to score runs freely. That means it's not very easy to bat. It's very important for India from here to make sure that they put good runs on board so that it's easier for them. It's there is some competition. Otherwise, अगर batting मुश्किल रही and if they are not able to score runs, then I think things can go against India. But staying positive, India has done really well with their bowling now. But जिस तरह उन्होंने कल bowling की थी और हम लोग बात कर रहे थे कि they were not up to the mark. Amazing performance by Shami and Ishaan Sharma especially, and credit goes to Ashwin as well, because in these conditions where there's not much help for spinners, उसमें भी आके 2 wickets लेके गए. So it's this job well done. Now it's very important for them to bat and make sure that they put good decent score on the board.
Okay, I will come to our third guest, Gaurav, who is, of course, a content creator as well as a reporter. If he is, of course, of the same opinion that Rakesh and Sufyan gave, or he thinks, he's probably having another strategy. Going ahead into this competition, Gaurav, you, of course, heard Rakesh and Sufyan give their thoughts. Aapko kya lagta hai? Do you think, number one, they both are on par, of each other, or are you looking at it otherwise?
Now, first of all, I think this session, the second session of Day 5, was the most significant session in the whole match. Wickets gire, runs bane, and like Rakesh said, the runs from the tail enders. I mean, Tim Saudi and Kyle Jamieson, both of them combinedly score 51 runs. If we deduct that from New Zealand's score, it's not even 200. So this shows कि वो हम लोग वही बात कर रहे थे इस सेशन के पहले भी कि tail enders will come into play, they will play some big shots and change the course of the game. So I think around 30 odd runs की lead इस pitch पे I think बहुत ही handy है, बहुत ही substantial है, and it's gonna be a fascinating contest. 4 सेशन बचे हैं. I remember last year एक टेस्ट मैच हुआ था इंग्लैंड और वेस्ट इंडीज के साथ में, तो उसमें जॉस बटलर और बेन स्टोक्स ने थर्ड इनिंग्स में ओपनिंग की थी. And then England went on to win the test match. So I think India need to be aggressive with their approach. Someone like Rishabh Pant might come up the order. I mean, normal cricket इस situation में खेली नहीं जा सकती India के perspective से if they want to win this test match. So I think बहुत ही अच्छा contest था इस session में, and if rain doesn't spoil the upcoming sessions, I think it's going to be a magnificent contest, and all 3 results are still possible.
That is the main player in the World Test Championship final is the rain. But on that note, let's take a look at the summary of course, the scorecard to really look at where things are standing for both the teams. 249 and 99.2 overs for New Zealand. Devon Conway scoring 54, which is, of course, the highest of 153 balls. And Mohammad Shami, we're, of course, going to be talking about him. 4 for 74. People were also expecting him to get a fifer. I'll come to Rakesh on where things stand with New Zealand, them leading by 32 runs. Let's really talk about individual performances. Probably we should go with Kane Williamson. We did say that wicket would be crucial. Went on, I think Rahane and him both got 49. Looking at his strike rate also 27.68. Do you think if, of course, they had got Williamson a little early on, things would have looked different on the scorecard?
Yes, I think taking Kane Williamson's wicket little early would have changed the game situation. But looking at that strike rate and all, I would say that was absolutely fine because you need somebody who can really stay there and anchor the innings, not just one or two players. As a captain, he has that extra responsibility as well, and he has that capability of playing slow, accelerating the innings, and he can hit the big shots as well. But the situation demanded him to play like that, so that if he was also being aggressive and if he have lost his wicket, then the other people losing the wickets, then it's completely out of control. So I think as a captain, he took that decision of taking that anchoring role and anchored the innings. But I think it's fine. I mean, if India would have taken his wicket a little bit early, I think India would have had more control. That whatever the lead 30 odd runs, that would have been less. If India, I mean, if India would have managed to get that 50, I mean, trial by New Zealand trialing by another 50 runs or something like that,
Yeah.
India would be in a better stage. But right now, I think New Zealand is also in a comfortable stage because the bowlers can really swing the ball. Like in the first innings, they were started swinging it, putting it outside the off stump, and then later on the day two or day three, whatever it is technically, they started bowling it on the stumps, making the batsman to play and took the wickets. I think they'll directly go with that strategy and they'll try to attack and try to take the wickets as soon as possible. So this last session of today's and tomorrow's first session is going to be very crucial for India.
Super crucial.
India have to really get rid of these two sessions.
Okay, I want to talk about Kane's runs in, of course, Test cricket. That is something that we want to take a look at. If we can have that on our screens here. I think, Gaurav, I'll come to you on this one. We did speak about Ross Taylor initially, but even Kane Williamson, of course, we all know the kind of player that he is. 7,178 runs. Looks fantastic over there. Of course, he's gone ahead of Stephen Fleming. And, of course, he's followed, both of them are, of course, followed by Brendan McCullum. And Ross Taylor, of course, being right at the top. So, आपको क्या लगता है अगर आप ये stats देख रहे हैं? You're someone who's very interested, in these kind of things, of course. So, how do you view that, especially with his contribution today? Of course, apart from being a skipper, in context of an individual player, how do you look at it?
The thing is simple. Kane Williamson's rise in international cricket has been parallel to New Zealand's emergence as a cricketing powerhouse. So it shows that how big a role he has played in making Black Caps reach where they are now. I remember, we are not talking about New Zealand being underdogs and dark horses in this tournament. That shows that how far they have gone, and all the credit must goes to Kane Williamson. I remember it was the year 2016. Brendan McCullum had surprisingly announced his retirement, and Kane Williamson suddenly was asked to lead the side. And kudos to him. The way he has led the side, he's not very aggressive. He's not someone who will go and say a few words to a player. He has maintained a decency, and I think he has shown that why cricket is a gentleman's game. And the way he has taken New Zealand to great heights, and still I think a half part of Williamson's career is still left, and I'll be very intrigued to see at what stage he will end.
Yeah, I think all of us would want to see that for sure. Sufyan, I'll come to you about the bowling lineup. Some brilliant performances today by the Indian bowlers. So let's quickly take a look at where Ashwin stands. In terms of his stats, of course. Okay, we'll go with Mohammad Shami first. He, of course, In terms of wickets, he got 4. आपको क्या लगता है? Of course, बहुत सारी expectations थे मोहम्मद शमी के. When you think of a player like Shami, everybody was thinking he's going to do the magic, and indeed he has. Looking at the way he's performed today, आपका क्या कहना है?
जी बिल्कुल, डेफिनेटली बहुत ज़बरदस्त बॉलिंग की है शमी ने, और जिस 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 तरह इंडिया ने अपनी बॉलिंग स्टार्ट की थी, हम सबको यही कंसर्न था कि सिराज क्यों नहीं खेला और भुवनेश्वर क्यों नहीं खेला और सब बातें. अभी कोई भी इस बारे में बात नहीं करेगा क्योंकि नाउ द बॉलर्स हैव डन वेल.
I can see Rakesh working there.
तो जिस तरह शामी ने बॉलिंग की, नॉट ओनली शामी, ईशान ने बॉलिंग की, और जिस तरह बाकी बॉलर्स ने बॉलिंग की, आउटस्टैंडिंग. मैच में इंडिया को वापस लेके आए, दैट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. और लिटिल थोड़ा सा कंसर्न अभी ये है कि बुमराह का वो रिदम नज़र नहीं आ रहा. अब मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि T20 क्रिकेट ज़्यादा खेल लिए शायद, उसकी वजह से टेस्ट मैचेस कम खेले हुए हैं, और थोड़ा सा टाइम लगेगा, एडजस्ट हो जाएंगे. लेकिन ऑफ कोर्स उनकी पोटेंशियल पे किसी को डाउट नहीं है, वो भी एक ऐसे स्पेल के साथ आ सकते हैं कभी भी, सबको पता है. तो थोड़ा सा वही कंसर्न है. बाकी द बॉलर्स हैव डन अमेजिंगली वेल. शामी ने तो इंडिया को वापस मैच में लेके आ गए कह सकते हैं.
धूम मचा दिया basically Shami ne. I actually want to come to Rakesh, to you about Ishaan Sharma, but before that, Gaurav, I want you to reply to what Sufyan said in terms of course the exposure of for a player like Bumrah to be exposed to a lot more T20 leagues. Does that of course make a bigger difference when you're talking about a competition like this? Aapka kya kehna hai?
I think T20 and Test cricket, like Sufyan said, they are different ball game. Adjust होने में time लगता है. Test T20 cricket, in T20 cricket you can't be too predictable. You have to bowl yorkers, bouncer, length deliveries. But in contrast, in Test cricket you have to be persistent with a particular line and length. As I said in the previous session before, Bumrah has been a touch shorter in this. In England में अगर हम जाते हैं तो length पकड़ना I think bowlers के लिए थोड़ा सा मुश्किल होता है. हम लोग हमेशा देखेंगे पहले मैच की सीरीज जो होती है उसमें जो विजिटिंग बॉलर्स होते हैं वो हमेशा तो शॉर्ट रहते हैं बिकॉज उनकी वो नेचुरल रेंज देती है. इन इंग्लैंड यू हैव टू पिच द बॉल फर्दर अप. सो आई थिंक ये बुमराह की एक थोड़ी सी प्रॉब्लम रही है, राइट, लाइक सूफियान सेड. आईपीएल में ऑब्वियसली एक डिफरेंट बॉल गेम है, वहां पर उनकी डिफरेंट स्ट्रैटेजीज है, बट आई थिंक इंग्लैंड सीरीज आने वाली है और वहां पर हम बेटर परफॉर्मेंस देखेंगे. लेकिन दिस इज द वर्ल्ड टेस्ट चैंपियनशिप फाइनल.
The reason why, right, the reason why in terms of course you talking about him having to shine is because जो सारे हमारे viewers हैं वो यही पूछ रहे हैं because he's got 0 wickets, right? Initially, of course, there was expectation, there's pressure. Is it because of the format or is it because of the competition? How do you view it? Even as an analyst, is it because the competition is so much more tougher, or is just something that we're expecting from all the Indian players because they've showed us in the past what they're capable of?
I think the thing is simple that Mohammad Shami and Ishaan Sharma, they pitch the ball further up, they tried to exploit the swing from the surface. और ये चीज बुमराह में I think थोड़ी सी कम की थी. And I can't say that he bowled really well, really bad, because on occasions he was teasing the outside edge and वो कर रहे थे. लेकिन I think maybe luck उनके फेवर में नहीं था because उन्होंने बहुत अच्छी कुछ डिलीवरीज डाली थी लेकिन उनमें उनको विकेट नहीं मिली. बट आई थिंक ही वाज फार अवे फ्रॉम व्हाट ही कैन डू. ही वाज फार अवे फ्रॉम हिज पोटेंशियल. सो आई थिंक या
सॉरी you were saying something?
Yeah, I was saying that only. तो I don't think ये प्रेशर का कुछ प्रॉब्लम होगा या फिर इस फॉर्मेट में खेलने की कोई दिक्कत होगी. बस आई थिंक दिस आर जस्ट वन ऑफ दोज डेज वेयर nothing goes your way. तो आई थिंक वही रहा है. अनफॉर्चुनेटली ये वर्ल्ड टेस्ट चैंपियनशिप फाइनल में हुआ लेकिन एक इनिंग्स बची है.
So we might just see something. Yeah. Okay. So on that note, of course, it did not work for him. But what definitely worked for two bowlers has to be Ishaan Sharma and Ashwin. So I'm quickly going to get Ishaan Sharma's stats on the screen so that I can get Rakesh to really quickly talk to us about how he's, of course, done 3 wickets over there, 25 overs, 9 maidens. Looks great in terms of what Ishaan, the kind of spell that magic he's created. Rakesh, aap kya kehna chahte hain? Ishaan Sharma and of course Mohammad Shami did manage to create that magic. Where do you stand with Ishan's performance?
In terms of Ishaan Sharma's performance, the stats itself shows that he has done a very good job. But sometimes there are few players who, when we see them while they are in the action, it doesn't look like they are so effective. But when we see their stats, their effectiveness clearly is visible. So that is about Ishaan Sharma. And in terms of Mohammad Shami, there is no question or there is no doubt. Yes, he might prove little expensive because before he started taking wickets, his economy was below 2. But the moment the players started attacking him, that's where he was going for runs, but at the same time he was taking wickets as well. So there are two different kinds of bowlers who has different skill and who looks very different. So it's all about how the viewers or how the analysts or everybody is looking at. It's not just what we see or what is visible to us. We have to look over the stats. We have to look at the previous performances as well, and we have to look at what they are capable at that particular context. So they have took the wickets, four or five wickets and 3 wickets. What else you want from your fast bowlers?
Okay, we of course have to talk about another bowler who did make a difference. Has to be Ravichandran Ashwin. Quickly, if we can take a look at that before we of course head into the predictions as well. In terms of Ashwin's performance, what we see over here is most test wickets under a captain. Quite some interesting trivia over there. 281 under Virat Kohli. Of course, right behind Dale Steyn under Graham Smith's captaincy. Sufyan, आपसे आना like I want to come to you about this question. Ashwin performing this way under Kohli. Of course, it also talks about Ashwin as an individual player as well. But since we have the stats about most test wickets under a captain, आप कैसे view करते हैं इसको?
बिल्कुल विराट कोहली ने खुद भी बोला भाई है कि अश्विन जो है वो एक लेजेंड है. जिस तरह वो हर कंडीशन में एडजस्ट कर लेते हैं. अब जैसे आज की आप एग्जांपल ले लें. आज की जो कंडीशंस हैं, इस मैच की जो कंडीशंस हैं, वो स्पिनर्स के लिए इतनी फेवरेबल नहीं है. लेकिन जिस तरह इन्होंने बॉलिंग की है और बैट्समैन को कंटेन किया, देन विकेट्स लिए हैं और एक प्रेशर बिल्ड करके रखा है, दैट्स अमेजिंग. दैट शोज द क्लास ऑफ द पर्सन. जिस तरह वो हर कंडीशन में अपने आप को एडजस्ट कर लेते हैं, तो आउटस्टैंडिंग है. मतलब जितना आप उनकी तारीफ करें इतना कम है. Definitely.
Okay. And, we have a quick update that India's second innings has started. So on that note, I'm quickly going to take the predictions from all our special guests over here. Rakesh, what are you placing your bets on? Or rather, let's talk about one player you think is going to be, you think is going to make a difference now as opposed to the first innings.
For this particular session, I think Rohit Sharma will take up that responsibility and he'll anchor the innings. I'm expecting Rohit to score some good number of runs in this particular session.
Okay, Sufyan, coming to you, आपको क्या लगता है कौन सा?
जी, rightly said. रोहित शर्मा experienced है. He should be someone who should lead it from the front. runs की जहाँ तक बात है, और विराट कोहली, ये दो प्लेयर्स हैं, सीनियर प्लेयर्स हैं. आई एक्सपेक्ट देम टू प्ले बिग इनिंग्स. ये नहीं कि 30 40 50 रन, समथिंग अराउंड 100 रन. सो 100
सेंचुरी मिल जाए बस कोहली के लिए काफी है. Okay, and Gaurav, before we wrap up, who are you placing your bets on?
See, 4 sessions are left, and if India want to win this test match, they need at least 60 overs of play. It means at least 2 sessions to bowl New Zealand out. तो उनके पास वो सोच रहे होंगे कि हमारे पास 50 ओवर है, 60 ओवर्स है. I think Pujara might be shifted a little bit down the order. I think attacking approach obviously रहेगी because the captain is Virat Kohli. Attacking approach हमेशा ही रहेगी. And I think Pujara might be shifted a little bit down the order. और शायद तक हम देख सकते हैं ऋषभ पंत और रविंद्र जडेजा, स्पेशली ऋषभ पंत because of the left-handed factor. हम देख सकते हैं वो शायद तक 3 या 4 पे आ सकते हैं. So I think Virat Kohli might think something out of the box because of this, because he want to win the test match. And जो भी होगा, I think it's going to be a fascinating contest between the bat and ball.
Well, on that note, of course, I'm going to let all of you, go on this show today. And we're going to, of course, join you once again to see what's going to be held on the other side. But until then, stay tuned to CricTracker for the latest news in the world of cricket.